Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our weekly webinar. Uh, we're very excited that you're joining us on this. Well, I'm in the North Texas area. It's a very cold and rainy fall day. Very excited to have this type of weather come in. And at the same time, I had to turn my heater on. That's just the way it is, I
Yeah,
guess.
me too.
Yeah,
I'm not excited about my dry skin. I get dry skin in the winter. Other than
we
that,
are. Uh, we're excited to be here. This is actually it's the 30th. I don't know why this says 29th, but it is the day before Halloween. Lots of goodies coming our way. And today our topic is tricks and treats, a grab bag of Eduphoria tips and shortcuts. And it's literally just like quick little things that we want to share that aren't covered in the big trainings that we do that are focused on specific pieces of software. It's just kind of review of little tiny things, little tips, little pieces of candy that we can deliver your way to hopefully excite you in celebration of this Halloween season. Well, my name is Joel, and I'm one of the trainers in the professional learning and coaching team, and I am joined with Jenny, who has dry skin, as she just said.
yes, not yet, not yet. It'll happen though, real soon.
And these are our lovely costumes that we're wearing in our photo. Oh, Photoshop is so easy, I guess. But we are excited to be with you and to share everything that we're going to be talking about. And Jenny is going to be kicking us off pretty soon. But as we are talking, if you have questions, comments, you want to say hello, you want to wish us happy Halloween or stay warm, woohoos and boos, you can post them in that questions window that's part of the GoToWebinar control panel that's on your screen. And Jenny's going to kick us off. She's going to be covering, a lot of different things in Aware. Wow, Jenny, you got a lot of
I
stuff.
know. They're quick though. They're quick things, so I think we're
Very
good.
good. All right, I'm going to hand over control to
Perfect.
you. Oh, it's telling me, yes, I will have to set that setting.
Oh,
Did it give you the controls?
no,
No,
not yet.
it's asking me to do this. Hang on. Sorry about
Okay.
this, everybody.
So we just had this conversation. I actually had this moment of terror. Like I had 5 minutes to get in and I was answering a ticket and I thought, oh, I'm going to finish typing this answer. And then I looked down, it was like 1:55 and I was like, okay, I'm good. And then I remembered I have a new laptop. This is a new laptop and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to set everything up. And so I literally joined the webinar at like 1:59. Joel was like panicking, flow dogging everybody. Do you know where Jenny is? Jenny's supposed to be on the webinar. So yeah, it's
You
good.
might you might have to take the control, Jenny. If you go to
Okay,
the
let's
panel, you
see.
can say take. Yeah, it'll let you.
Let's see. Under sharing, webcam, audio.
It's on uh the menu bar on the control panel. It should say it
Oh,
under
wait.
the.
No, full screen. Make another attendee the presenter. Could I make myself?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. I'm gonna make you the presenter if it'll let me.
Okay, I got it. I
There you
think I
go.
got it. Full screen.
Sorry,
Can y'all
everyone.
see? Let me go here. Can y'all see that?
Yes, we
Joel,
can
can
see
you
your
see
screen.
where? Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry about that. There are some exciting things to talk about today because the new, what we've referred to in the past as Test Wizard, is going to release tonight, hopefully. And so when you log in tomorrow to take a test, things will look a little bit different. And I want to go over that. So consider this one of the treats because it really is an improvement over the old one. Um, let's see. So tomorrow when you log in to take a test or to not take a test, but create a test, you're going to see, if you're a teacher, you would see this create a new teacher test legacy. Legacy is kind of like classic. We called the old one classic when we were talking about the test builder, or create a new test legacy. These two options will take you to the old test wizard, where you make a selection and then click next, and then make a selection and then click next. However, whether you're a teacher or an administrator, either one, you will also now have these options. And at some point, legacy will go away and you'll just have these options. It will not differentiate here between teachers and administrators. So I like that from a training perspective. I think that was always confusing. And I think when you were an administrator and you were training teachers, reminding them to use that create a new teacher test option or create a new test if they were admin, was always, a I think just a bearer in training. Sometimes knowing that administrators see something a little different than teachers is always difficult. And so now the system will recognize your role in the system. So if I am a teacher in the system and I click create a new blank test, it will automatically create a new teacher test for me. If I'm a teacher who has administrator roles, then it will create it at that, campus level assessment, and I'll be able to put it in one of those test types. So again, that will now be defined by your roles and rights in the system instead of by the type of test you choose. So that's kind of exciting. So when I click on one of these, create a new blank test, it's going to take me to basically the same questions that I've always had to answer, but I'm going to answer them all on one page. And in addition to that, I also have the ability to set my performance levels up right here, which is really super nice rather than it being like, kind of down on the left-hand side of that panel. I can now answer all these questions. Click generate test, it takes me into the test creator. So again, it's a one pager instead of it being several pages that you click next. So that hasn't changed drastically. Copy an existing test is very similar. So I would select a test to copy, would be my first step. Give it a second. I'm running on a feature site and they run just a tick slower than regular sites. So once I selected a test to copy, the next screen would look like the screen we just looked at, where all the selections would then be made. So if I want to change the name of the test, the test type, any of those things, those would be available on the next screen. And you know what? I think I'm logged into an account that doesn't have available tests. I think that's why nothing's coming up. But you would, again, just drill down to the test you want to copy, hit copy, and then it would take you basically to the same screen you got with the create a new blank test, except for the existing information for the test you copied would already be filled in, but I could change anything I wanted to change. The biggest change for this new test creation option is the how you create a quick test key. So when I click that, I'm going to put the name of my test in. And again, go through all these options.
So it basically is getting rid of the wizard, the step-by-step.
Yes, exactly. So much nicer. Yeah. So again, I can do my performance levels here in the test creation part. So test types would be available so this is a good example. This is an admin account that also has the ability to create a teacher test. So if I was a teacher who also had the ability to create one of these other test types, I could then select teacher test or campus-based test from here. So if I'm a teacher who only creates teacher test, it's going to default to this teacher test type on its own. And then from there, it could be converted to a team test after the test is created. So that process won't change the conversion to team test, but this kind of shows how that option now is broken down, and it's not, you don't click on create a new teacher test to start. Add a new course. Yeah, so getting rid of the next is really nice. And then of course, if I'm associated, if I'm a campus level user or a teacher, it's going to assign it to my campus. If I'm a district level user, I would have to pick a campus to assign it to, or all campuses. So this is how quick keys have changed. So once I hit build a quick key, this comes up. I then have to add questions by selecting this add rule button. So I can edit, if question number 1 is actually a numerical response, I can put that in and put in my, format my griddable. Then I'm going to click add rule, and I could do constructed response. Again, format my scoring range, add rule, selected response. We still do multiple choice or multiple selection with, number of answer choices is editable. I never can say that. Numerical response. Again, here I can choose a floating decimal and allow negative values, all those things. Then I'm going to hit create quick key. And it takes me to that test key view page that's under the assessment creator. And I'm going to go in and give my correct responses. And also add my learning standards. So pretty exciting. I think this is faster than the old one for sure. Again, it works pretty well. Also, if y'all haven't noticed, I'm not having to click save each time it auto saves. So if I go to edit, that used to be a kind of a pain point that when the new one was created, if I made any changes here, I had to click save after each change. That's no longer the case. I can just go to the next one and it will save for me. So that's pretty exciting. Auto save is turned on.
Can I ask some of the questions that are coming in?
Yes, absolutely.
When is this coming out?
Tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Tomorrow,
That should
yes.
answer like half of them.
Yeah, there was an email that went out this week notifying. We've also been showing it at the service center events and the road shows. So we've been preparing for this for a while, but when you log in tomorrow, barring any issues, this is what your screen will look like.
And then Janie Cook wants to know, will existing tests convert into this?
Well, the test, it only changes the creation process. So it won't,
Gotcha.
for the copy an existing test, if you're using that option, yes, those will be available to copy through the new wizard. But yeah, since it's just the test creation process, this is really just for when you're building a new test. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So there is help documentation. I will show you where that is. If you click, I'm gonna do it a different way. If you click help, oh, that's kind of what I wanted to avoid. Oh well, that's okay. You click help and you go to aware, and right here under new aware test authoring, the new create a test options, here is the help documentation for it. So you can see, those are in there. This is for the different types. So create a new blank test, copy an existing test, or create a quick test key and what those things look like. That's all in here and updated. So there's documentation. Again, I've been showing this, for probably 3 months now. I've showed it to probably, I don't know, 300 users, 400 users, and not one time has anybody said it's difficult or that they don't understand it. And so I feel like because all of those questions, once they click, I think the biggest learning curve is training to click one of those test options instead of just create a new test and then choosing the test option. Because once they get past that screen, other than the key, all of the things that they do are the same as they've always been. So filling in those blanks are all the same, setting performance levels, that's something they've done before. And so I don't think there's a huge learning curve here. And I think it does save time. I think it is more user-friendly than, what we had in the past. Let's see if I can get back to aware. No, I have to log back in. Let me get back in.
Yeah, that's where we're putting all of our good stuff. Master.
Yeah, exactly. So is that it on questions, Joel, or are we?
Yes. I mean, we're just getting a lot of questions. And Dixie, you just asked a question about demo sites, and the answer is yes. So whenever we have an update to our software, it goes out to all of our customers and demo sites.
Yeah. All right. So next on the list, I had view across test, and that kind of goes along with summarizing SE performance. It's the time in the school year where you're starting to give cumulative exams. So whether you call those benchmarks or district-based assessments or final exams, it's that cumulative test time, and you want to kind of look at how kids are doing on everything you've taught this semester. So one of the things that's important to do is look at that information side by side down to the learning standard level. And so I'm going to go in and just build one quickly to kind of show everybody how that can be done. So I'm going to start with a district-based assessment. So I'm going to pretend that I just gave, let's do 6th grade math, my math, say, final exam. And I'll just choose that one. This is a demo site. So I don't know what all of these tests are, but I'm going to choose it. My next step would be to click Edit. And I want to add in side by side some other tests that I've given this semester. Maybe they're district-based tests. Maybe they are unit tests that teachers have given in their classroom as team tests, or they were campus level tests. But I want to go ahead and add, see if there's any more math. October. Oops, sorry. Add those in by just dragging and dropping them over. There's more. And then I could put in, again, any unit checks or campus-based tests that were in there from this year. I'm sorry if y'all can hear. Joel, can you hear Elton snoring?
Always. For those of y'all listening, Jenny and I have the same breed of dog, and her dog is snoring, of course.
Always. He's always snoring. Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. And he's snuggled. It's cold outside, so he's, of course, like glued to my hip. Anyway, so I could drag over any additional assessments I wanted. For time's sake, we're just going to use these. And then under columns tab, at this point, I don't care about like pass fail scores. I'm looking at how they're performing on learning standards. So I would just clear that out, and I'm going to do learning standards, and I'm just going to pull over all learning standards. Oops. Did you see that? I don't know where it went. Click back. It's awesome when I'm showing something in a webinar and it doesn't work. It's awesome. Let's see.
It sounds like Elton enjoys it, though. He's
Yeah,
snoring.
he doesn't have a care in the world. Not a care in the world. Well, I should have all learning standards over here. Let me refresh my page. Sorry,
Lo-
Joel.
Laura Stauffer says, it sounds like my husband. In the comments, she wrote that. Thank you,
Perfect.
Laura.
Yes. It's awesome when your 50-pound dog snores like a grown man. Okay. Yeah, now he's really getting into it now. Let me move his head a little bit.
People are saying it's showing up in their tables tab.
Oh, it is? Yeah, see, I couldn't see it in mine.
It's showing up in theirs.
There's okay. Okay. So let me select the test again. That was weird. Mine was doing something weird. Edit. And then I'm going to add over again just a couple of other math assessments.
There we go.
Okay. Columns tab. That's weird that it was showing up in the tables tab. Oh yeah, look, there it is. Okay, well that's a bug. This is good. I wonder. Oops.
Now you broke Eduphoria.
And now I broke Eduphoria. Well, okay. So let me tell you what I was trying to show, and we will definitely report this as a bug because it's important for you to be able to do this time of year. What I was trying to get at is a quick tip that a lot of people miss out on, and it is the summarize selected tests by option. Let me go in and choose because that should not show up in the tables tab. All right, edit. What I'm trying to get down here to show you is this summarize selected test. So if I go down here and I have pulled out, say, 3 or 4 assessments, and I say summarize selected test with average results, right here, if I just leave that selected, what that would show me is it would show me the results for each individual test. So if I had SE performance, it would show the performance of that learning standard on each test. And then the last column to the far right would show me the summarized performance for every time that SE has been tested on the test selected. So that's really awesome data to have at this point because you can see, again, cumulative performance as well as performance across individual tests. The other summarize option is to choose with subject results. And that would just give me one column that summarizes the performance on all the assessments selected without showing the individual assessment performance. So depending on how you want to look at it, if you're just really looking for, I think there's pros and cons to showing it and not showing all the individual assessment performance. One is that if you have one that's kind of showing up consistently low for all students, and then you look at your, struggling kiddos and you see it's low for all of them, but then you go back and you go, well, it's only been tested one time before. We know we haven't really done what we need to do in terms of spiraling and reteach. And so if we have it broken down by individual tests as well. That said, if I know I've spiraled certain SEs on 3 or 4 tests already this semester, and I'm good on that point, I can just look at it with subject results and it will just show me low performing learning standards for all of the tests combined. And so anyway, I think it's just an important thing to know is down here. And again, it's to summarize selected tests either with average results or subject results. Subject gives me one column, all the tests together summarized. Average results gives me each individual test plus a summarized column. So just kind of know that's down there. That was the quick, not so quick tip I was trying to show you.
That was a
Yeah,
trick.
that was a trick. It was a trick. It's tricky. It's
Eddie
tricky.
played a trick on you.
It did. It did. And the other one, again, is just something I like to show people. No matter how many times I show this, people always go, wait, what'd you just click? How'd you do that? And that is closing the navigation pane. It's really nice when you're building a new assessment in the new platform. If I have a test open, and I essentially now have 2 menus. Open one up. So the place where you're building tests is like way over here, right? So now you can close this window. And again, I show that anytime I'm talking about quick tips because it's important to know, and it's just right there. So kind of exciting. And of course, the ever famous triple click. It's kind of not that time of year where we're still looking at star data, but triple click is always kind of fun to go back and look at. I can triple click as far back as the year and get all assessments, all star assessments for my district or campus, or I can go down and get summarized results for a particular grade level. So I could do triple click on 5th grade math, and it's going to summarize results for both administrations of math. So that's kind of exciting. So that's how you do that. Again, triple clicking, I could triple click on 5th grade and it will show me summarized results for math, reading, and science, all administrations. So kind of cool. Triple click's an easy way to kind of look at all that data without pulling all of those tests in over. Do we have any questions, Joel?
I think there's questions you can probably answer better than me
Okay.
that are in there. I'll
Okay.
let you get to those.
Yeah, I'll take a look at them here in a second. So Yeah, triple clicking is nice. And then, of course, one last tip I always like to show, it's an oldie but a goodie. If I go to, let me just open up a third grade math test, this Learning Standards report, Learning Standards breakdown, if I go here, everybody who has ever tried to print this knows the pain of it. If I export this to Excel, you literally need a magnifying glass, and even then, you might not be able to read it. So to print this report, always flip it. We have a very technological name for this. We call it the Flippy button. It flips all of your columns into rows, and it's just these two buttons here. So I can flip it back um, to the way it pulls. And then again, if I want to print it, I would want to flip it. It will export to a PDF flipped. If I try to export it to Excel, it's going to take it back to its original version. So just FYI on that. But I can print a like nice little one-page pretty PDF of this now where it just has learning standards and percent correct. So that's it on our tips for aware. Joel, anything to add or any questions you want to go over out loud before we change?
No, I'll let you answer some of those that are in there. There's some
I will.
questions, and for those of you that are posting questions, I know some of you are asking really kind of detailed things that we didn't really cover, and we're really sorry. Like today's session is really just kind of like a quick look at some easy things to click that you may not know about. And so those more detailed questions, if we're not able to answer those here, we may ask you to email us through training@eduphoria.net. And
Right.
it's hard for us to go into specifics for your case when we have over 120 people viewing. I think it
Yeah,
might be kind of boring for them to be answering your specific issue. So
it is.
if
And
it
a
is
lot of
something
times
specific, yeah, if it's something specific, feel free to email us and we will reach out to you and try to help you that way.
I'll let you know in the answers, send a ticket in. Because a lot of times when you send a really specific issue, we have to go into your site and look at
Mhm.
how your site is set up and how a test is set up and how things were administered, in order to get to the answer. And we obviously don't have time to do that in a group. So we'll do the best we can to answer the questions, but the answer may truly be please submit a ticket to training@eduphoria.net. So, all right. Well, I'm going to hand back off to Joel. Or did you grab it?
I grabbed it. I think
Okay.
I'm ready here. So we're going to jump out of Aware. And like we said, those of you that have posted those questions about Aware, Jenny can now answer them because she's going to be typing while I'm talking. So I'm going to move this whole window I have open
And
here.
I'm gonna mute too, so y'all don't have to listen to Elton.
But I love listening to Elton Snore. But yeah, I get it.
Like
It's fine.
it's the white noise. It's like a white noise machine.
Yeah, it's very calming. Okay, so I want to show of the other applications, and I've kind of cut out some from facilities and events and help desk just for time. But just a quick thing in Forethought, a lot of people don't know about this, but within Forethought, there's a setting called lesson checklists, and it's for those that manage Forethought. They have the ability to create these groups of items that could be selected as part of the lesson plan. And so when teachers are in their lesson plans, like if I have an example, I believe, yeah, it's going to be like right here. Here we go. If I'm in a teacher's planner and I'm clicking in the planner itself, a lesson checklist are the items that appear that can be checked off as part of the lesson itself. I've seen this used with like instructional strategies. I've seen it used with specific special education modifications. I've even seen it used to track how technology is used in the classroom. And again, these are created in the managed side. I'll show you that in just a second. But as a teacher is going through and adding items that they're going to include into the lesson, they can select these different items and make them part of what they're going to be using in the instructional side of the lesson. And so those again are created inside the Manage tab, Forethought options, there's lesson checklists, and it's turning it on. It's just as simple as checking the box. And then you can just enter a title in for a group. So if I just create a group, add group, and then when I click on that group, I can add each item that I want to have as part of that checklist. Just enter in the name of the item and click add item, and it creates it as part of that group. And then that's what makes it available for your teachers to use if they're needing to use, like as it says in the directions there, a district defined focused item in the planner that's used for tracking purposes, because anything that is a lesson checklist can also be viewed inside of reports. There's actually a report in here for checklist usage. You can create a start date for the start of the time that you implement that checklist. You can select by a specific campus, and then or you can run for the whole district. And when you submit that port, it creates a spreadsheet view. It's a PDF view, and it's by month, and it's each item in the checklist and how many times it was used. And again, you can drill down by specific campuses if you're wanting to see more of that information uh, by the campus and by the teachers at that school. So that is lesson checklist. Again, fast view of a quick tip or trick. Strive, I'm sure some of you know about this, but inside Strive, you have the ability to turn on a feature. This is inside of settings. It's in appraisal settings, and then it's got to be turned on in the general options. Someone has to turn this on, which is enable appraisers to set up status email reminders. And what happens when this checkbox is activated is that if they are an appraiser, they have this button over here for appraisal alerts, and an appraiser can say, I would like to receive a status email sent to me each week or each month, depending on which one they select here. And then they can include the types of data that they would like to receive for those alerts. So they can see how many walkthroughs, observations, summatives they completed, or if they're at the campus level, how many require observation summative. They can even enter in a number for, I want to be alerted of how many staff members or which staff members have fewer than like 6 walkthroughs in that given week or over the time frame of the appraisal period. And so this is something, again, that your administrators can be setting up and monitoring themselves, but it has to be turned on in the appraisal settings under general options and the general options tab. Someone has to go in with administrative rights to enable that so that appraisers can have access to that button. Another cool feature, we haven't really had much to say about this. It came out last year, but it's this button right here. If you're in campus view, it's called the download filtered appraisees button. And what it does is it kind of looks at all the staff that are tied to a campus. The filtering means you can filter by, let's say if I wanted to just look at who is a T-test teacher, I can click this button and it's going to download the name of the staff member, their appraisee type, who is their appraiser. And it's really to track who is appraised by what type each year. So if you're a district and you have a waiver teacher schedule that you're doing along with a T-test teacher full evaluation, and you need to track who was a waiver and who was not waiver for the year, it'd be a good time to click this. And what it does is it downloads a CSV file, the appraisee data for your campus based on what filters that you have selected. If you just want all of the staff, then don't select any filters. Click the download and it will download all the staff for you. But if you're looking at specific appraisee types, you can select that and then click the download filtered appraisees, and it downloads all of those filtered into that one CSV file. Any questions so far, Jenny? Anything popping up?
I was muted. It says yes. So I just got to the end of the other questions. Do checklists flow to team planners?
Oh, that's a good question. The checklists themselves, they are part of so they're in the same box. If I'm in there as a teacher and I'm in my lesson planner here, let's see, I'm going to go over to a team planner. So yes, if you look in the gray box, if I double click, I'm going to get my standards over there on the right. But if I click once, the same checklist will appear here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, they're all in the same place.
I would think any planner on the
And
campus,
it
right?
still runs the same data from that checklist usage report.
Perfect. And then Lavanya asked if you could repeat that again for Strive appraisals.
Okay, real quick. So, if you want to download your appraisees, so this is a way for a principal to download a list of all the appraisees, who was their appraiser for the year, and by what evaluation type they were appraised by. Then they can click this button. They can click this. It's available all year round. A good example of this is if you have the appraisee type for waiver teacher, because some districts will have like T-test teacher, full, and then T-test teacher waiver, and they're not sure which teachers were waiver one year versus the current year. So for starting this year, if they wanted to select just T-test teacher waiver, for example, or T-test teacher full, they can select by the filter, then click this download. It downloads a CSV file, only including whoever is filtered by appraisee type. If
Perfect.
you want to just download all of them, don't select any filters and click the download filtered appraisees, and it just downloads all of them. And it will include again their name, their appraisee type or the evaluation appraisee type that's selected, and who their appraiser is.
Okay, perfect. Cindy
I love
Carlton
that.
said she loves the download function. So
This is
thank you.
called the Cindy Carlton button.
It's the Cindy Carlton button. There we go. We're going to rename it.
Yeah,
Like the
let's just call it Cindy Carlton button.
okay.
Paige was going to join us, and Paige usually does our form space training. And one of the things that she always shows in this, and I like this too, I've recently been helping some users with this type of tool, but inside form space, so you may be the form space administrator, and that gives you the ability to manage everything, which is like a blessing and a curse, as we all know. But let's say there's specific forms that you don't necessarily need to manage. Maybe someone else wants to be able to pull the data from those forms. Maybe they need to be able to analyze, run the reports on the form, or maybe you want someone else who is going to just manage the form itself, but you don't want to give them form space administrator. So something that you can do is in any of your forms that you have available, when you click on settings, if you scroll down here to the bottom, there is additional management and reporting users. And what it lets you do is it lets you search the directory for a specific user. There we go. We'll just use Mr. Stark here. And then you can make them in charge of just reporting, which is gives them the ability to run analytics. They can't actually edit the form or get the data from it, or manage the form. And then that means that user has the ability to manage that particular form without you having to give them rights to the entire system. So just a quick little tip is, again, if you just want one person to manage several forms instead of having access to the entire management of form space, go to the form, click on the settings tab, and at the bottom is additional management and reporting users. And in some cases, you may just need someone who's able to run reports without editing the content. And in that case, you would just add that user and select the option for reporting only. That way they can't edit that form. And they don't have the edit rights in that they would as a form space administrator. So that's Paige's tip that she has shared on with all of us. And then I get to show something that I'm very excited about that is going to be coming very soon. We're still testing it, making sure it works, but you've probably noticed on a few of the screens, like when Jenny was showing things, and even when I've been on the screens. But there's this button that appears over here on the right, and that is called Eddie Helps. And Eddie Helps is going to be a new way for you and all of your users to get help using our software. And I'm sure you all know the help button is here. It's still going to take you over to our help articles where you can see step by step procedures for accomplishing different tasks. But what Eddie Helps brings into this is the help is going to be directly on the page itself. And so, for example, it kind of pops up here, it explains what Eddie Helps is, and then based on the role of the user, so in this case, I'm a building principal who has campus view, it's going to have step-by-step directions to show me how to select my appraisees, approve staff goals, how to start an evaluation, maybe a video to teach me about the SLO process, register for professional development. If I go to my personal view and click, the options will change based on what's going on the screen. So as a person who has an evaluation process, it's going to walk me through creating a goal, submitting goals for approval, deleting goals, viewing my current and archived evaluations. And so as items are clicked, it has these little pop-ups that are going to show up and walk you step by step, or walk your user step by step through what it is they need to do to view and click through each of those assigned tasks. And so we're really excited. It's currently set where these help steps will show in the main screen. Eddie Helps is going to show up here when your users log in. There's a video here called Learn About Eddie Helps. If you want to watch it or your staff watch it, it will have me explaining what Eddie Helps is. And then as they go through our instructional application, so it'll be inside of Aware, Forethought, and Strive right now. It's also built for if you're the system manager. It's got some start of school stuff there, but I'm sure you've already done that. But just letting you know, it's really going to have a lot of the things that you've probably done for the start of school already. And as we're releasing it and as we release new things in our software, we're going to be able to have the step-by-step help as we're releasing those updates as well. So everything's going to
So,
be appearing inside of Eddie Helps.
Joel, I hope you are feeling the love. You have people offering to kiss you. Yes, there is all kinds of praise going out to Eddie Helps.
Maybe
Um,
we should call it
I
Joel Helps.
I won't say who. I won't say who offered to kiss you, but somebody did.
I'll read the
Um,
comments.
and then they want to know when it's going to be released. I know we built it out, and
Yes.
then like in the case of Aware, we built it out, and then some things were changed, and so the little helps thing pops up in the wrong place because they actually moved the button, and so there's been some delay, and part of that is just development issues. So what are we looking like now on the timeline?
Okay, so that is a great question because like this has been something we've been working on for a while, and like Jenny said, as the software changes, we have to update the flows so that they work. And then it's also I don't know if any of y'all have been to Roadshow and ESC events, but we are like in heavy travel season, so it's kind of hard. But we are testing it. I've sent another update this morning. We're testing it. I'm thinking it's going to be coming very, very soon, meaning either by the end of this week or the early start of next week.
Yes.
Um,
We
because,
actually
like I
built
said, it's active on our stuff. We're able to see it. We're able to interact with it. It's just we're trying to make sure all the flows are working. But
right.
yes, it is working. It's an overlay on top of our software, so it's not part of our software, but it is going to be. I'm so excited! I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, yeah, it is. We actually built these. We actually built these, like a lot of them this summer. And then as development, like in Aware, with all of the changes happening, like if they move a button down and over to the left just a little bit, the little help thing is still like up and to the right, and so it doesn't work. So there's a lot of changes that need to be made before it released, and that is partly it's partly just time. The training team does all
Yes,
that, and like Joel said, we've been in road shows and on-site trainings, and like I think I leave. I'm in Austin tomorrow, and I was in Austin Monday. I'm in Austin tomorrow, and then I come home for a day. I go back to Austin Saturday, and then I'm not home again until the next Saturday. So that's kind
yeah,
of what our schedule looks like right now, and so it's just tough to get all of this done
it's
on
tough to
top
have
of
the
it.
time. But
We are
again,
very excited
it's
about it coming out.
it's very exciting because again, it takes that step away from having to switch back and forth through tabs. We know that that's hard to do. It's you know some of us work with two monitors, so it's a little bit easier, but we know that teachers and staff may not have that option. So we wanted to make it an easier way for them to get help right
Yeah.
inside the application itself. And so
Yeah,
that's
and
really
when the
exciting.
flows are like working right, it is really cool because it'll say like next step, click now and explain what it's really cool, just like Joel said. It's pretty neat. And I think it will take a lot of the burden off of um, those questions you get with brand new users or even people who just haven't done anything in a year and they log in and they
Right.
can't remember how to do something and all of those things. So yeah, we're super excited about it.
And
I do
uh,
have a,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so like I said, when we release it, a lot of the items that we have in here are kind of those first of the year tasks that are generally done. And as we are moving towards the start of the spring semester, we'll be adding in step-by-step guides for things that people will need to be doing doing in the middle of the year and then towards the end of the year, we'll move things over into creating your PD schedule and all the things that they need to be doing at the end of the year and resorting and reordering as those things are coming up. So it makes it easier for your staff to be able to access the help they need based on what's going on during the school year.
Yep. Yep.
Go ahead,
It's
Jenny.
cool. So one of the questions I've had, and it is the million-dollar question, we get it all the time, is when we have not covered it, so you didn't miss it. She thought maybe she missed the information. So text to speech for online testing is going to release very soon. So if you're
Mm,
going to be at TAC, we are going to demo it at TAC. It is on some feature servers. It's going through testing right now, and we are very close to having it released. And so um, I hope that answers your question. And Megan, if you're going to be at TAC, stop by the booth. We're going to demo it there. Um, but it shouldn't be too long after TAC that it actually goes out. Chances are it will go out as like a feature flag. We do that oftentimes with the things we are concerned about being buggy. And so it doesn't just get pushed out to all districts, it gets pushed out to only districts who request it. And then those districts can kind of catch things that we missed in testing. Because when we say we were running through things through um, testing, it's it's just a couple of people doing that, and a lot of times the training team helps it do that. But when we put hundreds of users on it, y'all obviously find things that we just didn't have the capacity to catch. And so sometimes we release things as a feature flag, so it could be something you have to request to have it turned on immediately, and we leave it like that for a little bit, and then we turn it on for everybody else once we're sure the bulk of the bugginess is out. So anyway, somebody's making a funny comment.
well, I was gonna add
Anybody
on to what
volunteering? We'll
I
do.
wanted to
We'll do.
add on to what you said too, because I don't go to the Texas Assessment Conference, and if you're watching and you're not one who goes, but you know someone in your district is going to that conference, tell them to go to the Eduphoria booth because,
Yes.
like I said, I don't necessarily train and aware, but from the things I'm reading about what they're going to be demonstrating at the booth, those people who are there for updates and information from our company about what's coming soon,
Yeah.
they're going to be showing those items in the booth. They're going to be demonstrating that
Yes.
information.
And someone asked, will it read math different from ELAR? Yes, that's one of the things they're working on. So one time, so I was a science teacher, and then I was, did some other things, and then went into the technology piece or instructional technology piece for my district. And they actually called me in a pinch one day to read an Algebra 1 star test to somebody, and it was a little bit of a nightmare. And so we do not want your text to speech experience to be like that student's experience with me reading her Algebra 1 test to her. And so, yes, they will make sure that it can read math symbols and all of that works before it's
Correctly.
released. Yes, correctly. Yes. Not like I did it. And then also, so there must be a math um, person on here wondering, one of the other things that's coming very soon is a math editor built into the test builder. So you'll no longer have to go to LaTeX or somewhere else and put the information in there to build an equation. the equation builder will be in the assessment builder. And that will demo that at TAC as well. And I saw how it works and I was like, oh, this is so simple. Why didn't y'all do this years ago? But of course I know it's not that simple. There was tons of, I think, coding on the back end to get it, and also rights to certain softwares, and all. It was a big deal to get it put in there. But there will be a math text editor built into our test builder, so you don't have to go somewhere else to do it. So that's super exciting. Yeah, the equation editor.
That's
Yeah,
good.
so good. And so again, at TAC, we'll demo that. We'll demo text to speech. We're going to demo there's updates to like monitor lists and stuff that are coming out because of the student portfolios. That will all be demoed at TAC. So we are looking forward to it.
And again, by demo, it's not a picture of what we're developing. It's actually
Yeah.
live on our testing servers. So it's a preview of what's going to be coming out soon.
Yes. Yes. And I could just keep answering these questions live. Where are we at on time?
We
Is
got
there?
about 9 minutes. The only thing I wanted
Okay.
to close out with is
Yes.
just a reminder, another tip is, and we get this a lot, which is we'll have someone contact us and ask us, do you have any training related to blank, and, you know, there is inside of our help. And like I said, we're moving a lot of that into the Eddie helps. But if, for example, webinars, we are getting a lot more people attend our webinars. All of our Wednesday webinars are recorded. Whenever you register to attend a webinar, you automatically receive the link to the recorded webinar, no matter if you attended the live recording or not. And so we get that question a lot, like weekly, right, Jenny? We get like at least
Yes.
6 emails a week asking, will
Yes.
you send me the recorded webinar? So letting you know, all of them are recorded and all of them are also archived. So when you do go to help, if you click on training and webinars, it will take you to this page and it shows all of our upcoming webinars, which right now we only go through December. We haven't scheduled and posted our spring webinars, but we will. But you can even go by our instructional ones and then what I call the potpourri, the miscellaneous webinars, usually
Hmm.
like a little help desk, a little F&E, a lot of form space in here. But then you can go in and view those previous webinars or send those links to other people who need to view that. When someone is coming into your district into a new position and they're saying they need training and maybe you don't have the ability or the time to give them that training, come in here and see if we already have a webinar that you can shoot their way to get them started. And that way they can view that information and gather any questions they have before uh, going through all the clickable articles or contacting us directly for that type of support. So anyway, that's training and webinars. All of this is going to be available. It still is available in our help section. All right, Jenny.
So someone asked about, and this is a really common question to Lockout Browser online testing. Right now, that's not out. I know that it has been discussed. Honestly, I do not know kind of what the outcome of those discussions were. Last I heard, and Joel, you may know, but last I heard, yes, at some point we were going to try to implement that, but it's also possible for you to do that in your own system. And so I know there was discussion. I do not have a firm yes or no. You could email again, Betsy training at eduphoria.net, and we'll have someone who is better informed on that reach out to you about like what's coming, new stuff. They tell us stuff is coming when they know they can do it and it's like truly coming. So sometimes we don't always have the best information, obviously, because I don't want us telling us, yes, telling you guys, yes, we're going to do that, and then them not be able to make it work. So, if you email training at eduphoria.net, I can forward it to Ed and he can answer your questions about Lockdown Browser and how that might work if they are able to do it. And then Janie actually asked a very, very important question. She said, are all your webinar invites sent out to all active Eduphoria users? And the answer is no. Only people who have subscribed to our newsletter get those. And so we had a flub up, when was it? Like right at back to school, and actually sent an email by mistake to all active users about a webinar. And our registration for that webinar went to like what, 800, Joel? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, it was like 860 something.
And we had like 500 attendees. And so what that told us as a company is that people will attend if the information is getting out. And so if you are getting the emails about the webinars, please share them, because if you're basically a gatekeeper for information and if that gate is closed, other people in your district aren't getting maybe the information they need. And if you have the ability to share that, great. But at this point, we can only send emails to people who have said, yes, I want to receive emails. We can't send them to everybody. We did, like I said, by mistake one time, and we actually got like kicked out of our email. Didn't send any more emails until we got like put in jail, email jail for it. And so anyway, it's kind of funny as a company, but it proved to us that if we could get the information to more people, the interest in attending these things is much higher. And so again, if you are that person in your district, please forward that to whoever might be interested in attending, and also encourage them to sign up. So the simplest way is if you just encourage them to sign up for our newsletter or Eduphoria News, then they can get that information themselves. So, yeah. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, we were so excited. We were like, how did that happen? Then we found out from marketing that the email went out to everybody, and we were like, oh, only if we could do that every time. But apparently, it's not allowed. It's against the rules.
Yeah,
So
we don't want
yeah,
to break the rules. We don't want to break the mail or internet rules.
yeah, yes. It was
I
not. It
mean,
was not.
we
It was
try
quite.
not to. I should say it
Yeah,
that way. We try not to.
we try to be rule followers. Yep. So yep. All
Well,
right.
I am reading through the comments. I see a lot of those very thankful ones about Eddie Help. So very excited. We cannot wait to release that for you, and
I know
hope
it's exciting.
hope that
We
it
have
really does help out.
so many exciting things coming. I mean, just our next year, when we talk about all the things that are coming with new new test stuff, and starting on the forethought and curriculum editor stuff. I mean, it's just exciting. It's super exciting. It's a really exciting time to work here and certainly be a user here. And I know the changes can be stressful for you guys because you're having to retrain and share that with members of your district. But I truly feel like Joel and I both were in your shoes. We were
Hmm.
the Eduphoria for our district and know the pain points of sending, when changes happen, keeping everybody abreast of it. But I really, truly feel like the changes we're making are worth that investment. In the long run, they're time savers. In the long run, it's better software, it's easier to use. And I also feel like the training burden is decreased in the new software from what it was in the old because it is more user friendly. And then also with the implementation of things like Eddie Helps, and that really helps that. So
And all
again,
the
I think in the
articles,
long run,
and Jenny, all of the articles that you and I created since starting.
yeah. Yes. And honestly,
Thousands.
I saw the comment about when will the PDF version of that be made. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know. It's in help. The screenshots are there, but like I said, we are stretched so thin right now. When I get that made into a PDF version, will be like, when I am able to do it and I'm not traveling. So we will try to get a PDF version of the new test wizard up. I just can't promise that it'll be in the next like few days, but the help article is there. You can certainly just link, rather than sending them a PDF, just link the article in your email. When they go there, all the information is there. So that would
Are
be my
those
suggestion at this point.
articles, are they published? Are they coming out? Will they be
They're
uh
published. They're live now. Yep.
oh, okay. Cool.
So yeah, they're out. And so again, we'll try to get them added to some kind of PDF version as soon as possible, but I just can't promise that it'll be like tomorrow or,
Right. It
well,
might be
like
next
I said,
it might be
oh,
next week.
yeah, or not, because I'm on the road all next week too. So we'll do it as soon as we can. It'll probably be over Thanksgiving break. How about that? Guess what
Yeah.
I'll be doing on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So anyway, all
Well, thank
righty.
you all for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this season of tips and tricks. And we really hope you have a fabulous week, as it says there on the screen. And
Perfect.
we hope that you are enjoying your fall weather, and don't forget to change your time this weekend. I know some of you are excited to gain an hour. Maybe Jenny can use that hour to make
There we
PDFs.
go. That's what I can do. Yeah, I can use that extra hour to do
Yes.
PDF. How about
But
that?
I, like Jenny, right after this, right after we hang up here, I'm getting in my car and heading to Austin as well. So we are loving the travel. We are loving getting to see all of you at the different ESE and roadshow events. And again, we are very excited that you spent the time with us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your week.
All righty. Thanks, guys.